tracks, titles, and tattoos. Get an eyeful of what happened at this weekend's Eifel Grand Prix. Hello and welcome to the Pit Crew podcast. My name's Ed. This is my co-host Dylan.
Hello.
And this weekend, or a couple of hours ago, was the Eifel Grand Prix held at the Nürburgring GP circuit in Germany. Pretty decent race, as you can see on screen. Daniel Ricciardo got his first podium at Renault, first podium since he won at Monaco in 2018 with Red Bull. Valtteri Bottas retired, along with a couple of others, such as Lando Norris, George Russell, Alex Albon, and I think that we had quite a few retirements. It was kind of a bit of a race of attrition. Lewis Hamilton won, equaling Michael Schumacher's record of 91 race wins, and by that tally, he is now the joint most successful driver in Formula One. So well done to him. But the first thing we need to do in our podcast episodes is compare our predictions for qualifying and the race to what actually happened in real life. So for qualifying, I predicted Hamilton, Bottas, Sainz, and in typical Ed fashion, I got nothing right. Nothing more to say there. Bottas did very well actually. I think he was like a quarter of a second over Hamilton, so quite a good lap from Bottas there, and it's quite surprising to see Hamilton being beaten by that much. And Verstappen in his standard P3 wingman of a team that has a wingman in it position. Dylan, how did you do?
I predicted Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, and only got Verstappen. I got the two Mercedes the wrong way around. So only one correct.
Yeah, bit better than me, 33.3% better than me on average, but still no 100%. You've done that occasionally, but not this time. Now moving on to race predictions. Something that I don't think either of us is going to get right because first off, Dylan predicted Vettel, and I don't know why he was doing that. I think I've had an influence.
German driver.
Fair point. I think I've had an influence on him. I'm being a bad influence on him with these predictions. But as you know, Daniel Ricciardo.
I would have gone Nico if I knew earlier.
Forgot to mention that. Nico Hülkenberg, less than, I think it was 27 hours before the race start, he was sitting in Cologne, having a coffee with his friend when he got a call from Otmar, I can't pronounce his name, Otmar, team principal of Racing Point, saying, Lance Stroll's ill, he sat out final practice, you're going to have no practice, but can you come and drive for us in qualifying? He was like, yep. He went straight down there, got in the car qualifying. He got P20 due to a mistake on his final lap, but he came P8. And as we'll get onto later in the podcast, in my opinion, completely and utterly driver of the day, in my opinion. But yes, Dylan, Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel. Why did you, as you said, Vettel was your you wanted a German driver to get on the podium, but sadly Vettel didn't even get the points. As I've stolen, speaking about your predictions, Dylan, would you like to speak about mine? We'll do it in return. So what did I predict?
Ed predicted Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, and you got none. Like one.
Yeah, I got one. Thank you. Don't take 33.3% away from me. Thank you very much. Actually, I beat you there. Yes, I beat you for once. I beat you in predictions, but yeah.
No, I got one on the previous one. Wait, did you get one on the previous one?
No, I didn't. It's a draw. All right, we'll call it a draw.
Yeah.
But yeah, none of us predicted none of us saw the Spanish Inquisition of Daniel Ricciardo getting that P3, or should I say the French Inquisition? Anyway, moving on. Back to talking about what actually happened and what happened, not what happened in the past. That's what I was trying to say. Spit it out, Ed. Come on. The race was, as I said, a pretty decent race. Bit of a race of attrition. Quite a few drivers retired. I think we had 5 or 6 retirements. Yep. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. There's about 15 left.
No, sorry. I'm very sorry. There were only 5.
Russell, Bottas, Ocon, Albon, Norris.
Yes, you are correct. And Bottas. You forgot Bottas.
Yeah, I said Bottas. Yes, I did.
Okay, we'll let the viewers decide on
I
that
was
one
too
because they're
quick.
listening to footage. Yeah, it's too quick for me, like a rapper. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, five retirements. Got it wrong twice now.
Come on,
Um,
Ed.
15 runners left. For a McLaren fan, it wasn't a bad day. For a Norris fan, not the best day because he retired due to an engine failure. But Carlos Sainz did get that P5, which is good. 10 points to McLaren in the constructors' standings. I don't know how this affects them. They have had two quite bad races in a row, but um, yeah, it's been a pretty good, fantastic race for Nico Hulkenberg, P8. Romain Grosjean, P9. I think it's first points of the season for him, but he did think he broke his finger after a crash that caused George Russell to retire with Kimi Raikkonen. George Russell crashes Kimi Raikkonen, causing George Russell to park up, cause a virtual safety car because he broke his left rear suspension. Gravel's thrown up from that. Romain Grosjean thinks broke his finger, which interesting way to
Grosjean
score your.
broke his finger.
That's what he thinks happened. Yeah.
At least we can get Hulkenberg maybe back, replacing
Yeah.
Grosjean.
Yeah, hopefully Hulkenberg comes back. I
Hopefully,
mean, come
yes.
on. Actually, I won't tell you what I was about to say. That's for my Ed's interesting fact later. Well, actually, you know what? Let's go to Ed's interesting fact right now. I was planning it for later, but let's move on straight to Ed's interesting fact. You can see that absolutely beautiful background there. And my interesting fact, only a little nugget of knowledge. I did a big one at in the predictions episode only a couple of days ago, but did you know Nico Hulkenberg, who has driven in uh, I'd like to say three, but it may be two races out of 11, has more points in the drivers' standings than Williams, Haas, and Alfa Romeo do combined in the constructors' standings. They have 8 combined. He has 10. And that is your little nugget of knowledge on a Sunday evening or whenever you're watching. I hope that brightened the rest of your day. Moving back to the podcast now, Dylan, what was your biggest disappointment in the race?
Biggest disappointment in the race was probably not Williams not getting a point again. Even though
Again.
they came kind of close with Nicholas Latifi, 14th. I'm pretty sure that's his best, isn't it, this season?
Yeah, but considering it's second to last, it's not really his best, is it?
Yeah, well, 5 people
Yeah.
retired.
Okay. It's still P14. We'll gloss over that. Gloss over that. Yes. Daniel Kvyat got run over by Alex Albon because Alex Albon cut him off after he cut a chicane. It's quite hard to explain vocally. If we'll link the highlights in the top right hand corner of the screen, go and watch it there. I don't know how far through it is, but it is certainly on those highlights. Alex Albon retired with an engine penalty, adding to his list of disappointing results this season. Bottas, he led for quite a while, but he locked up on lap 13 into turn 1, and Hamilton got past into the lead, but 6 laps later, I think it was 6 laps later, yep, Bottas retired due to an engine failure. Kimi Raikkonen, as I mentioned, he got George Russell. Sebastian Vettel did another. Hang on, how do you? He did a spin, but Dylan knows the word I'm looking for. The spinella.
Yeah.
Spinella. It means spin in Italian, and if you're a follower of F1 memes, you'll certainly know the spinella memes by now. I like my pronunciation of that. It's lovely. Spinella. Well, it's great fun to say. I'm having too much fun saying spinella. Yes, as I was saying, Albon's scrappy races continued in 2020. Yeah, he didn't do very well. He got a 5-second penalty, and then he retired due to a power unit problem on lap 24. Norris had a power unit problem. So we had power unit problem for Albon, power unit problem for Norris, power unit problem for Bottas, a crash for George Russell, and I think another power unit problem for Ocon. I'm pretty sure that it was Ocon had a power unit problem as well. Yeah, it was. Nürburgring's not kind on those power units, it sees. And also, I don't know if you've seen the pictures. We'll put a picture on screen. Lando Norris has, after the race, pulled a deck chair up at the side of the track and decided to watch the rest of the race Fernando Alonso style. Fernando Alonso was seen doing that a couple of a couple of years ago when he was in Formula One. He's coming back now, though. What was your biggest surprise of the race, Dylan?
Nico Hulkenberg finishing 8th after having a dreadful quali, starting last. It was a very good achievement to be able to get up to 8th in the race.
Yeah. That was I was going to go for that.
Still yours, yep. That's the obvious one.
Yeah. Another relatively big surprise of the race for me, obviously that Daniel Ricciardo podium. Pierre Gasly having a silently decent race for AlphaTauri, considering his teammate down in 15, although he did have a little bit of an incident with Alex Albon. P6 for Pierre Gasly. He's churning out lots of good races. He won in Monza, but he's consistently good. I think he may be my driver of the year at the end of the year. Charles Leclerc, not bad for Ferrari there, but obviously driver of the day, Nico Hulkenberg. And if you're going to go for not driver of the day, bad driver of the day, who would you go for there, Dylan?
Maybe Sebastian Vettel not scoring a point.
Yeah, I'd say a four-time one.
Again.
A four-time, yeah, he spanned turn one trying to overtake Antonio Giovinazzi. I saw it was described as him getting spooked. A four-time world champion. I mean, come on, you could do better than that. Come on, Sebastian. I mean, it's not hard to drive a car at 200 miles an hour for an hour and a half, is it? I mean, anyone could do it, couldn't they, Dylan?
Yes, but it's harder than we think.
I don't think it is. I think it's pretty easy. I think they get paid way too much for that, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, honestly.
You'd probably stall it.
Yeah, I wouldn't stall. I'd have got past Giovinazzi. I'd have got past Giovinazzi in qualifying. I'd be that good. I'd have got past him a day before. Honestly, Sebastian, get your act together. I'd be a 42-time world champion now if I were in F1.
42 seasons, that's very long.
Yeah, it's very long.
You retire at 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll gloss over that entire conversation. Obviously, none of that was true, but yeah, couple big surprises in the race. A bad surprise, Alex Albon having another bad race, considering the car performance that he's got. And I'd say Romain Grosjean getting in the points. It's good to see Haas scoring some points like they were. Yeah, 2 years ago. I can remember when they were right up there in the top of the midfield pack. Yeah, it's nice to see Haas back at the top. Hopefully they change their drivers for next year though, because they're not cut out for Formula One in my opinion. Yeah, but definitely. Moving on from that, what was your favourite moment, or what were some of your best moments in the race, Dylan?
I don't really have one. The entire race was pretty good.
Yeah, the entire race was pretty good. I'd say it all kind of came at the end with though that podium from Ricciardo. The majority of the moments in the race were either crashes or retirements. Other than that, it was a bit of overtaking, but the safety car was pretty good after Lando Norris, and that resulted in a bit of. And the virtual safety car was a good moment because that was a strategy I think pretty much got Ricciardo's podium because he pitted under that along with. But I would like to say, come on, it comes out my Hamilton. That's the man. I don't know why. That's it. Yeah, Hamilton and I think Bottas as well. So yeah, I think a couple guys came into the pits there, and it got Ricciardo his podium. Sorry for that incredibly long pause trying to say the name Hamilton there. Anyway, Dylan, what was your overall verdict for the race?
I thought it was a good race. It was quite exciting.
Yeah, I really...
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And in answer to my earlier question that I spent so long trying to answer, Hamilton, Verstappen and Ricciardo pitted on lap 16 on the virtual safety car, which was one of my favourite moments in the race. Yeah, that was what I was trying to answer for about 30 seconds straight. Dylan, please don't do that with my face. I do know that you could see that. Dylan's got my camera on screen. You can't see it, but I can see him like dragging my camera literally everywhere. Dylan, stop it! No, Dylan. Sorry, we're getting distracted there. You can tell it's Sunday afternoon and we're a bit tired. Yeah, I completely agree. It was a good race in many ways. Hamilton got the record. Grosjean got his first points. Ricciardo got a first podium for Renault. There's lots of record-breaking moments. Some good racing in there, along with lots of retirements and it being a race of attrition. Sadly, it didn't rain. We wanted it to, and we were kind of promised rain, but we didn't get it, such is the way with Formula One and rain. They got it 2 days early. But I think that brings us to the end of this week's episode of the Pit Crew podcast. I've even given you an interesting fact, so you can't be disappointed with our brilliant presenting skills, even though we have managed to spend 30 seconds thinking of the name Hamilton when we call ourselves F1 knowledgeable people. And we have also talked for about another 30 seconds about Dylan dragging my face around his computer screen. It's very mature here at the Pit Crew podcast. We hope you've enjoyed listening. Next outing is at the...
Imola?
No, not Imola. At Portimao in... Algarve in Portugal. A track we haven't raced at. Very undulating circuit. Be great to see the action there. Probably won't be raining there like it will be at the Nürburgring. I think it'll be a bit warmer than 10 degrees like it was in the race today. In the meantime, we hope you've enjoyed listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. And also, before we go, when we come back on that Friday, it'll be a day until Dylan's birthday. So Dylan, you get a birthday. You get a birthday on a Grand Prix weekend. What could be better? But for the meantime, I've been Ed.
And I've been Dylan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.